What are the dangers of being very attractive beautiful? People will often mistake friendliness for flirting. I work at a hotel front desk, and the other night a man came down to ask for something and said, "Every time I passed through here, someone else was hitting on you. Do you deal with that all the time?" "Yes, and it's obnoxious." "That man was also hitting on you. But he did it better." This is why I struggle to hit on anyone. People I find attractive are probably so tired of it at this point that I don't want to contribute to that, you know? Friendships falling apart when their partner is attracted to you. Friendships falling apart when you're genuinely trying to be friends with someone of the opposite sex and they end up falling in love with you. Happened to me. Lost a friendship because her boyfriend physically came on to me on my 30th birthday. I told her what happened and she chose him. Ruined the memory of my 30th. If it's any consolation, he'll end up cheating on her and she'll spend the rest of her life regretting the fact she burned your friendship for him. Not knowing if you're actually funny, or well spoken, or talented, or charismatic. I legitimately think that's why many of them aren't, men or women. Hot people get overinflated senses of self and therefore never feel the need to develop certain attributes. My favorite roast ever was when someone said, "She dances like she's been pretty her whole life." If you're really attractive and also quiet, people think you're snobby. Also, you get unwanted comments from creeps a lot. Edit, adding as a woman to avoid any confusion. I constantly was accused of being stuck up and a prude when I was a teenager, while I was most definitely neither. I was always nice to people, but I was super shy because I had painfully low self-esteem as a teenager and thought I was hideous and boring. My high school self and my grown-up ego thank you for this light bulb moment. Right? People assume because you're attractive you'll have friends, but it's possible to be so awkward that no one wants to be your friend but they still want to fuck you. If you become unattractive for any reason, you may find it difficult to reconcile that you are no longer attractive. Examples: car wreck, injury, aging, disease, becoming obese. I'm sure there are more. If you're used to being attractive and you identify as such consciously or subconsciously, it can be really hard to come to terms with a change in that. This is true with basically any strong quality that you can have. Your identity starts to revolve around that. Egg-gifted kid syndrome is usually caused by putting too much of your self-worth into your intelligence grades, which causes a huge letdown and shift in perspective in high school or uni. I made the transition from fat to fit and it turned out I'm pretty handsome under that fat. It was shocking to see how kind people are to me all of a sudden. People think you are flirting if you are being anything other than nasty to them. Then if you're a nasty, you are a bitch asshole. No in between. You can't pick your nose in public anymore with all the people staring at your attractive beautiful face. Wrong power, pick your nose. Assert dominance. You get a lot more attention than you probably want. Lots of staring and sometimes people following you. Tension within your own gender as you are seen as competition. People want to socialize with you. When you're ugly and have friends, you know they like you for who you are. Beautiful people don't know who to trust. Just like being rich. Regardless of gender, I think some people will get obsessed with you to the point they'll harm other people to just get your attention. Or themselves. Happens more often than you'd think. Classmates in high school went on a date with a guy who had a crush on her to give him a chance because everyone pressured her into it since he was a nice guy. Threatened suicide if she stopped talking to him. You aren't taken seriously. Men get very nervous around me, which in turn makes me nervous. My interactions with a lot of men in general is pretty negative. You get snide comments from other women. It's often assumed you're just a pretty girl with zero problems. This especially the last part. You basically get dehumanized. So ugly people are dehumanized in the form of being looked down upon, and attractive people are also dehumanized in the form of assumptions. Interesting. And meanwhile those goddamn bland averages float on without a care in the world. When people who are your friends take every chance they can to criticize your appearance or anything else, whatever little crumb of shade they can use to humble you. Yep, I have a few flaws. Not major ones, but my housemate keeps commenting on my fat, even though I'm quite low body fat percentage, and the fact that my teeth aren't completely straight. Not once have I received a compliment from him about how I work very hard to keep myself healthy and hygienic. Same thing has happened to me with past friends. People who do this are just insecure about themselves. It requires confidence and courage to compliment others. They just don't have it. Men assume you get hit on all the time, so they play it cool by being mean, which just makes it seem like most men are mean. Haha, you look like you've been beaten with an ugly stick. Date me? The pickup artist types. Thinking taking you down a peg by negging actually works. I hate those guys. If I'm nice to anyone, they assume I'm hitting on them. Yes, and then if you decide to be less friendly to not have this reaction, then you are labeled as being arrogant or full of yourself for not being so friendly. You cannot win. Being lonely. At a work function, I was just having a friendly chat with an extremely beautiful girl from another office. Afterwards, she thanked me for talking to her, as she often ends up sitting alone as people are too nervous to approach her. This happens to me a lot, and if I approach other people, they think I'm into them. Nope, dude. Just trying to be friendly. No one takes you seriously. If you get promoted at work or get put in charge of a project etc., others will think you got it just because of your looks. Even when not so attractive people get promotions, some people think they slept their way to that position. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos.